Today we're in beautiful sunny Pascagoula, Mississippi. Tori, what are we going to do today?
We're going to go in the lighthouse.
We're going to go in the lighthouse. This is the Round Island Lighthouse, built in the mid-1850s. Decommissioned in 1944, I believe. This is not the original lighthouse, but it is a reproduction because the original bricks weren't all that safe and sound, and got this cool old spiral staircase. I think the gentleman said it was 85 steps or 58 steps to the top. This was built in the 1850s, like I said. And after it was decommissioned in 1944, hurricanes kind of took a little damage on it. It was on the south side of Round Island. And over time, the sand and stuff eroded away. And Hurricane George actually toppled the top off this lighthouse. And they rebuilt it here at this park here, right when you come into town. And throughout the little park area, there is more pieces of the original lighthouse I'll show you in a minute. All right, we are in the very top of the lighthouse. What you think about, Tori?
It's cool.
This is pretty neat. Not too often you're going to get to go into a lighthouse, especially one of this age, I guess you'd say. It's a little panoramic view of town. I believe it is 85 feet in the air. And this is what they call a fourth order fresnel lens, or fresnel lens, however you want to say it. But anyways, you can see this light when it was in production for 10 to 12 miles out in the ocean. It's got a pretty cool history. Whenever the Civil War came through, they actually took the lens off and took it to, I think it was Birmingham or Montgomery, one of the two, to keep it from people stealing it, taking it, destroying it, because it's a pretty important piece. Very cool. I think in the late 2010s, I think it's 2015, they finally decided to do something with it, got the funds together, and got it brought off of Round Island on a barge, and brought it, the base of it in. And they realized the base was not strong enough to support itself, I believe. So they rebuilt it using modern day bricks and put a whitewash on the outside of it, which we'll see. If you look across the highway here, that's this whole area here, and down through there is a boat launch. They call that Lighthouse Park. Got a big grounding rod right there. Goes up to the top. This is period reproduction of what it looked like in the 1850s. And when it was on the island, Round Island, they actually had a gentleman that was a lighthouse keeper, and he stayed out there 24/7. He made about $500 a year. I don't know how good money that was back then. Pretty interesting. Definitely interesting. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I travel this road a lot here. And me and Tori woke up and I said, we're going to go for a little trip. Definitely pretty cool. Get some steps and down to the regular steps. Yeah, it might have turned. It's got wheels on it. Pretty interesting. Now we're heading back down the steps here. If you look, they get little plaques of people that have donated to the Lighthouse Fund, the preservation and restoration of this beautiful lighthouse. See out the window. So if you're ever on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, the eastern part of the Mississippi, this little small town of Pascagoula has this beautiful lighthouse right here on Highway 90. It's $2 for adults to come up and $1 for children. And they do have a gentleman there at the little office, and he'll give you the history of it and talk to you about it. And we're pretty local, so we've already known the history about it. Tori didn't, but she knows now. Definitely pretty cool. Something you don't see every day, or do every day by any means. Now here on the grounds of it, around the lighthouse, has all the sponsors and people that help make this possible. It actually has the cardinal directions all the way around the base of it here. Better look of it there. Definitely pretty interesting. See on the sign there. They do tours 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Friday and Saturday. And what Tori is standing by is actually pieces of the original lighthouse from 1850. So these bricks are over 170 years old. Bricks and mortar and all that stuff. You can see how it's curved. That's actually part of the lighthouse base, or the top, or basically the structure of it. Pretty little flower garden here. So now we're on the other side of the highway. The lighthouse is just across the side there. Still in Lighthouse Park area. And then show these little pieces they got. Some of the original pieces of the lighthouse. And they got a little bit of history about it. Talking to the tour guide, he said it was 58 steps all the way to the top, and it is one of 200 lighthouses in the United States that you can actually go in and climb to the top of. I also found out there's another one not too far from here. We might go try here another weekend, see if we can get over that way and go into that one too. Yeah, a trivia question for us. Where do you think the most lighthouses are in the United States? Well, I was thinking Maine. You know, you think Maine, you think lighthouses, so on. Nope. In fact, it's in Michigan with all the lakes, St. Lawrence River and all that stuff. But anyways. Here's pictures of the lighthouse when it was on Round Island. And I remember it in all of these forms. Growing up as a child, going out in the water and the boats and everything. This lighthouse was about 4 miles south of town, out to the Gulf of Mexico. And there's another piece of the lighthouse there. Now the gentleman said that a lot of these pieces out here are the pieces they couldn't use. They weren't structurally stable for whatever reason. But he said there was a good mix of new brick and original brick on the lighthouse. But they had, I think he said a couple of years ago, they had some engineers out here checking it out, make sure it's structurally sound and everything, and they were saying it was a, you know, modern marvel, I guess you'd say, that it was still standing, and the time and effort that went into getting it where it's at today. Now here it talks about Katrina. Hurricane Katrina really messed it up. As you can tell there's the barge they brought it in. And the truck they loaded it on, set it in the spot. And there's one of the Lighthouse Park signs they got. Here it talks about the reconstruction of it. They started in early 2000s, mid 2000s. Completed in September of 2014. Cost $1.4 million to restore it. And another $166,000 to restore the interior. Kind of interesting because when this was originally made, it cost just a little over $7,000. Anyways, Tori and I appreciate you watching and coming along with us today. We'll see you next time.